1250 and 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir. It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2. We do sports, pop culture, and nostalgia here at halftime. It's a fun show during your lunch break. And my co-host today is my boss, my boy, Rob Thompson. What's going on, my man?
Not much, man. I'm sitting on the other side of the studio, and it looks weird. It's a perspective that I'm uncomfortable with.
This is how I know that you're a good boss, Rob, is the fact that I'm sitting in your chair.
It's your show.
Well, I know this, but this is your chair. You know, I was expecting to be on the other side of the studio because, again, you're the boss man. This is your spot. Your keys are over here. Your stuff is over here.
I got here first, but that doesn't mean it's my chair. I mean, after you're gone, Ryan Eagle's sitting over there.
And it's been a while since we've done halftime together.
So I'm going to give you a little story as to how and why we sit where we sit.
Okay.
When I first got here, and when you compare me to Minix, who's been here since they opened this building, when we began the Sports Star 14 years ago, or back then it was the Zone. This studio where I'm sitting didn't have a window. It was just a dark studio. And Minix had this phobia about having his back to the door, like he's a gunfighter. Somebody's going to come and try to jack him. So I guess from the get-go, he had always sat in this configuration. And then about 4 years ago, they came and put this window in, and Minix came and said, "Hey, man, you want to change spots?" Sorry, my brother. You've made your decision. I'm sitting where I'm sitting. So Minix got stuck with his back to the window. And before we had this beautiful Sports Star logo there, you know, it's kind of like being in the zoo, and you don't know if people are standing behind you watching you.
Very true.
And they can see what's on your screen. And the bosses will walk by and see what's on your computer screen after they put the window in. So Minix chose wisely to start and poorly to end.
You know, it's funny because people walk by and they sometimes take a look inside.
Yeah.
And sometimes during movie reviews, they look at me a little bit weird. Joe Reinagel being the one who looks at me the weirdest, right? He gives me these looks. Today is Movie Review Wednesday. We're doing Terminator 2. T2 saw it for the first time last night. So already people are threatening me on Facebook and on YouTube about this and on Twitter. But we're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can search San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe, and leave a comment or two. Lots to talk about today. Lots of giveaways. I love it when we give away prizes, Rob.
Sure.
So we have 4 sets of concert tickets. In the 12 o'clock hour, we're giving away 2 sets of tickets to see Brooks and Dunn in concert in June at the AT&T Center. And then we have Coheed and Cambria to give away for the second hour at 1 o'clock. Now, I don't know how to give these tickets away, Rob, because you and I have gone back and forth about this because, you know, sometimes people call in and they say, you know, be caller number or whatever, and you win. But that to me is kind of boring. So I'm going to try something here. You know, the biggest song that I know of Brooks and Dunn is Neon Moon. So if you want a chance to win these tickets, you have to call into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines and have a sports take and give me 5 seconds. All I want is 5 seconds of you singing Neon Moon. Okay? I'll sing along with you if you want me to.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay. I'll stand back. Well, the 2 best callers / singers will get tickets. We'll be giving them away in the 12 o'clock hour. Again, Coheed and Cambria tickets as well in the 1 o'clock hour. No one has to sing for those.
Why not?
Because I don't think people know the songs, man.
That would make it easier to win.
That is true. You know, Coheed and Cambria, I've been saying all week, sounds like it's a cigar.
It does. The Cohiba.
Yeah. But we have lots to talk about today. So if you're going to call into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, it is 656 ESPN. Lots to talk about today. You know, Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy dropped a bomb on us last night when he just basically offhand said, oh, by the way, Dak Prescott, you know, quarterback, America's team, he had shoulder surgery. And he's talking to us about that, and we'll hear from him in a moment. At 12:30, you know, if we could draft the entire NBA, who would go first? So let's say that all the NBA players are free agents and we had a draft. Who would go first? Would it be Embiid? Would it be John Morant? Who do you got You can reach out to us again on Facebook and YouTube about that. Also, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open. Josh Primo continues to struggle. I'm a big Primo fan. I've grown to like him. I was confused by the pick last summer, and I'm glad that he made his way through and he started playing with the varsity squad, started playing with the Spurs, got sent back to Austin, and he laid an egg last night. Is this a big deal or not? And again, at 1:30, we're doing movie reviews. It is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which, by the way, Rob, I was in Seattle last weekend for my wife and I. We had our 10-year wedding anniversary. And at the Museum of Pop, Mopop is what they call it.
It used to be the EMP. I guess they've decided they needed to expand their footprint, but it's the one right downtown, right? That had the big guitar,
guitar mural or whatever
thing.
Yeah,
that is one of the coolest museums I've ever been to.
Yeah, it's right next to the Space Needle.
Did they have? It's the one that has the Jimi Hendrix wing. Okay, yeah.
There was a Jimi Hendrix wing, a Pearl Jam wing. There was one for Nirvana.
Yes. Was Yes a big deal back then there too, I think?
I didn't see that one, no. But they had a horror one, a Disney one. It was very, very cool. That guitar one, 700 guitars
pretty cool,
put together as kind of like a statue type of thing. But while I was there, they had an exhibit that was all about sci-fi.
Okay.
And in there, they had the costumes to Terminator 2, the T-1000 or whatever they call that metallic one. And because I had never seen the movie, but I knew I was doing the review this week, it was kind of funny that I'm taking photos of it and doing selfies with it, and I have no idea what any of that's all about, but I saw the movie finally last night.
So does the museum made a little bit more sense. Now, there's been a lot of Terminator movies. Now, this is the one where they come back and try to. There's another Terminator, a good Terminator, or another bad Terminator that comes in, the liquid dude.
Yeah.
It's got Furlong in it still.
Yes, Eddie
Furlong.
Soul
of the Sun. Okay.
This is the first Furlong movie.
Okay, so the first Furlong movie. And this is the one where they come back and try to kill the founder of Skynet. Is that the one?
Well, they try to kill Furlong first. The whole point is they're trying the metallic Terminator's trying to kill the boy.
But does the inventor of Skynet play into this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I know the movie.
Yes, and Sarah Connor's going after him.
This is her first badass stretch.
Yes. It looks like she works out.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about that at 1:30. But last night I completely jinxed the Spurs, and I apologize, Spurs fans. It's my fault. It's my fault. And it's because I'm not a member of the media. What do you call what I do? Because I'm not a media member.
You're a member of the media. You're not the journalist, I think, is the best way to define what we do.
You go.
I am not a journalist, but I'm a member of the media.
Okay. Because we can win awards like Rudy Jay won one last week, right?
But he got a journalist one because that's like a special award. So he's special now.
So, but as a member of the media, one of the powers that they give you, aside from you getting a microphone, is the power of the jinx. And it happens, we watch football games where they're like, oh, Greg Zuerlein hasn't missed a kick in 3 months. And all of a sudden it's wide left.
80% from the free throw line.
Yes. And clank, right? So last night I tweeted out there, the Spurs are having a good night because both the Toronto Raptors and Boston Celtics are losing at halftime. The Spurs own their first round draft pick. So we need those teams to lose. And of course, both of those teams, the Raptors and the Celtics, came back to win. And the game that I watched the most about that last night, the Celtics beating the Hawks 107-98. The Celtics were down by 12 at halftime. Just when the third quarter started, came back and immediately tied the game, took the lead and never looked back. But watching Derek White out there, 18 points off the bench, 7 for 13, it kind of reminded me of what it's like for some people to see a photo of an ex or something like that on social media. It's just kind of awkward.
Is it an ex when you broke up?
Even still.
Okay.
Even still. It's just one of those things where it's just kind of odd seeing them wearing a different jersey. But Derek White looked good out there.
Now, tell me, I honestly, I've only seen highlights of Derek White. I haven't seen the Celtics play at least more than 3 or 4 minutes with him in there. What's his role? Is he the same Derek White that he was with the Spurs, or what's he doing differently? I know he's surrounded by better talent, obviously. So there's some things that he can do easier because, quite frankly, he's not a better guy on the court. He's the third option, fourth option when he's out there. But he's obviously useful. I just don't know what Ime is doing to get him involved because it's working.
It is working. It's so bizarre to see it because his role is different than what he had with the Spurs. He goes in there and basically, he's not starting first and foremost. He's coming off the bench playing significant minutes, but really what he is, he's the third offensive option. But he's not handling the ball a lot, which is kind of strange because, with the Spurs, DeJounte Murray handled the ball, and if it wasn't in DeJounte's hands, it was in Derek's hands, and that's kind of the way that it was. So you're seeing a lot of off-ball movement that he's doing. He's coming around screens, grabbing, attacking the basket. He's having so much success as a mid-range assassin more than anything else. Last night, again, 1 for 5 for 3. I don't understand why teams allow him to shoot three-pointers. He can't make them. And it's so funny because the announcers yesterday were saying, Derek White is, 6 for his last 30 from 3. And we're just hoping, the Celtics are hoping he's going to improve from behind the arc. I was like, yeah, well, good luck with that. That's not going to happen. He's not a three-point shooter, but for some reason, he's still given the green light to shoot 5 or 6 a game. Last night, 1 for 5 from 3, but everything else he did from inside the arc was fantastic. He played amazing defense yesterday, and I'm happy for him because that Celtics defense, that Celtics team is getting better by the day.
5 assists in 27 minutes. 7 of 13 from the field. You said it, the mid-range assassin. Obviously, he has helped them exceeding. And it's interesting that we talk about how well he's playing, and you follow that up, or prior to bringing up Josh Primo, and the way that he just seems to be lost in this mix. We spent an entire year with him sitting behind Derek White. Well, half a year sitting behind Derek White. And by the time White was exited, Lonnie Walker was ready to kind of step in and fill that void. As a Primo new fan, how does this bode for you? I mean, does this feel like Primo's going to play this Lonnie Walker next 2 years trying to figure out where his space is while Lonnie Walker finally has figured it out? Or is this just about just getting in and getting reps with the starters, and it's just a matter of time?
It's about getting reps, man, because I take a look at Lonnie Walker right now. It has taken him 4 seasons to figure it out. Lonnie Walker is just 23 years old. I think we look at him and think that he's in his late 20s for some reason. But he came to the Spurs very, very young.
Just like Josh, 1 year in.
Yeah, just like Primo, and we're about 3 or 4 years away from Lonnie Walker's prime. And
well, he won't. If it's, do you really believe we're 3 years away from him? Well, he won't be at the prime. We will not see.
It's very possible because he might have played his way out of San Antonio. I would say that right now, if you had said, Michael, what's he going to sign for in early February? Lonnie Walker was probably a $5 million a year guy, maybe a $6 million a year guy. But now, because of the stretch that he has done the last 6 games, he's averaging more than 20 points a game the last 6 games. Right now, I'm looking at him going, this guy is now going to be making north of 10 million. And if he finishes the year with a stretch of 20 to 25 games where he's averaging, because right now he's averaging more than 20 over the last 6, if he can stretch that out for a 25 game period, the dude's going to be making 14 million a year. Book it.
And that will price him right out of the market here.
That's right. And that's absolutely crazy because I'm looking at the free agency market, and the Spurs have a lot of money to play with this offseason, but the best one that they could possibly get might be Lonnie Walker. And it's sad because we've been talking about the Spurs needing a second star inside the team, and maybe they have one in the stables, right? Is it Primo? Is it Vassell? Is it Keldon Johnson? The one person we did not talk about was Lonnie Walker, but ever since Derek White left, Lonnie Walker has been a different type of player. He is confident. He has a different, there's consistency to what he is bringing because the Spurs are now showing him consistency. They're showing him consistent minutes, and he's getting the ball differently. He has a different purpose on the court, and he's playing so much better because of it. And it's sad to say that because I like Derek White as a person, and he brought some very interesting things to the team, especially defensively. But this was a trade that actually benefited both teams. It benefited the Celtics because they have a better defender there, and he's doing what they need, and it helped the Spurs out because now we look at Lonnie. If you don't think the Spurs are going to sign Lonnie Walker, why are they playing him 30 minutes?
Well, here's my question to you. Is he a starter?
Is he a star?
A starter.
Oh, a starter. Doesn't have to be. Manu Ginobili wasn't.
Well, I'm just throwing. Let's not compare him to Manu.
No,
but if he is to stay, and you're talking about what he's been doing successfully, is scoring and, being part of this offense, but he's not doing it with the starters. He's coming off the bench doing this. Is he a starter in the NBA, or is he finding this niche that, for so many years, Patty Millsfield, and we've had others that have been that guy off the bench? Is that what he is destined to become, or is he a legitimate NBA starter, which is what I believe? I think Lonnie should be a starting two guard in the NBA. Now, whether he fits with us, I don't know. And I would like to have seen Josh Primo take a few steps. But the good news is Lonnie got an opportunity to capitalize. The door opened up and he walked in and he did it. So that's the first thing we asked for. And first, the assignment for this season for Lonnie was get better and stack the good. Do 3 games good. Don't do up and down. Don't give me 25 one night and disappear for 2 games and then come back and do that. And he's stacking them now.
And that's something that he's never been able to do before.
No.
But again, he is now consistent because at some point, he was the first guy off the bench now. But back in the day, he could have been the first guy off the bench. He was sometimes the third, sometimes the fourth. He would get minutes that were 15 one night and then 28 the next. And there was no consistency to what he's doing. But now he's getting the ball where it can utilize his athleticism and it plays to his strengths because now he's running downhill. And Derek White would slow the ball down. Derek White liked to play half court. Lonnie can run. And DeJounte is willing to run with him, and Vassell's willing to run with him as well. It's a different looking team because Derek is not there. Doesn't mean that Derek is a bad player. It's just he didn't fit this team. He didn't fit DeJounte. He didn't fit Vassell. Sure as hell didn't fit Lonnie Walker. But now Lonnie Walker, as you're saying, is now stacking good games upon good games. I don't think this is a fluke. I don't think this is something where he's just going to suddenly play bad now. I think Lonnie has found his stride because he has found his purpose on the court, and he now knows what's expected of him. And if he's going to be playing 30 minutes a game like he is right now, 28 to 30 minutes, to me, that means the Spurs are going to re-sign him. But it's going to cost money because there's going to be a team out there that's going to have a Godfather offer for Lonnie Walker. Because, again, why would another team not want somebody who averaged 15 to 20 points after the All-Star break?
The issue with Lonnie and with where he lands in the future, it's so incumbent on other things because we're looking at a position in shooting guard that is still 3, even 4 deep. There's a lot of guys that can do what Lonnie can do. There's a lot of 6'5" guys that can jump out of the gym, hit a moderate amount of threes, take you to the rim, play athletic defense. In the NBA, there's 2 of those guys on every team. He is not unique, Lonnie Walker. He's unique to us, or not even really that unique to us. Yeah, he's playing well, but there's a lot of guys look just like him that can do the same thing.
I don't agree with that, man.
Oh, there's 3 on our team.
No, man, because Lonnie's a little bit different, man.
Don't give him too much credit. He's stacked 6 games together. He is Devin Vassell plays the same game. Josh Primo plays the same game. And to some extent, so does Josh Richardson. That's on our team.
Okay, so I don't want to make it sound like a wide receiver. When a wide receiver, you get rid of a wide receiver who catches for 800 yards or 900 yards, you can replace that one pretty easily. But when it comes to athletic guards, you cannot replace that guy's athleticism.
Yes, you can. There's 6 other guys that jump just like Lonnie. There's 7 other guys that shoot better than Lonnie.
There are athletic players out there, but I don't think they're as athletic as Lonnie. I think Lonnie's a little bit more athletic than they are.
What, a double 2 inches more on a vertical makes the difference?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
Talking about. I think we get lost because he's ours. There's a lot of Lonnies out there. A lot of them. And if you're talking 10, 14 million, I ain't paying 10 million for a lot of guys that look just like you.
But how many of them know Pop's system? How many of them know the scheme? How many of them already gel with DeJounte Murray? That's the question right there. And the only answer to that right now is Lonnie. And I'm not saying that the Spurs need to sign him for 18 to 20 million, because no, at some point you get priced out. I do understand that. But at 10, at 12, even at 14 or 15, I'd understand, because we gave that money to Derek White. And I believe that Lonnie Walker can be a better player than Derek White. And guess what? Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, if you give a take and dare to sing a little bit of Neon Moon, you might get tickets to see Brooks and Dunn in concert in June at the AT&T Center. We have Juan on line 1. What's going on, Juan?
Orale, Juan. I guess we lost.
Yes, sir.
There we are.
Hey, there you go, brother. What's going on, man? Talk to us about the Spurs, man. What's your take?
Man, I just think they're a young team. I think they're get better every year. Can't wait for next season. It's exciting watching them play, watching them compete. I mean, they try so hard and work so hard. It just seems like the last quarter or the last few minutes, it just falls apart. Can't get a bucket or can't get a rebound, and just seems like that's what happens.
So why are you calling? What's your point here? Are you chasing Lonnie? Do you like the Josh Primo idea? If I told you Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, Josh Primo, Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, of those 5, 3 are going to be gone. Who are the 2 that stay?
Well, I'd say Josh Primo. Actually, guys, to be honest, I was calling for the tickets.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay.
It's a 2-parter. You got to give a take and you got to sing. So give us the take and then you sing. You can't eat your pudding if you don't eat your meat. Which, by the way, 49 years ago today, Pink Floyd's The Wall debuted.
Really?
You can't eat your pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Is that a song on there? Well, okay. Well, I want to hear. I want to hear a little Neon Moon. So let's hear a few seconds of Neon Moon.
Okay. The jukebox plays on drink by drink, and the words of every sad song seem to say what I think, and it's heard inside of me.
He's got a flutter.
Ain't never gonna end.
Somebody's been singing a little bit of a.
Let's get his contact information then.
From a neon moon.
There you go, man. That is fantastic. You're getting tickets.
Well, it wasn't fantastic.
You know what?
It was acceptable.
I've been to many a karaoke bar. That was beyond acceptable.
There was a karaoke flutter there. Someone has sung that song on stage.
You know what? We're going to have Raymond coming in a minute because Raymond's online right now wanting to do a verse or 2 of that. But man, I cannot believe the Lonnie Walker slander that you've been given.
This is not slander. in 3 weeks, if he continues to do what he's doing, he's a year late, but he's finally there.
Yeah. Remember the end of Jerry Maguire? When Jerry Maguire goes up to Glenn Fry's character, who plays like the GM of the Arizona Cardinals, and he gives him that sign of like the money. He just rubs his fingers, and Glenn Fry's character goes,
"Yeah, you got me.
I know. That's what's going to happen at the end of the season if Lonnie does this."
Let me tell you, I think, especially when you're dealing with a franchise that is trustworthy, a franchise that you know is not trying to do anything but the very best for you and the franchise itself. It is a pleasure for owners to pay players that have earned the money.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. You know, if Lonnie was to show up for the free agent negotiation and this season was about show me and he showed you, it is a pleasure to go, guess what, my brother? You did it. If we planned for this, and if you did this great, this is how much you're getting. Here it is, my brother. You earned it. I hope that they have to go through that. I hope, and I know that they do too. I know that Holt and I was going to say RC, who's probably above all that now, but Brian Wright are eager to pay him as much as they can because it showed, look, dude, we gave you the opportunity. 3 years later, you've earned it. Let's go do this now. You're now official. So I hope that he is there. I'm just worried that, one, he's going to outplay the slot that the Spurs have for him, or 2, we're still going to deal with inconsistency through the rest of the season.
Now, meantime, Josh Primo got sent back to Austin. And the thing about it is that the last 10 games, he was playing miserably. I mean, he shot 29% in the last 10 games. They sent him back last night, played for Austin, had a horrific game, just an awful shooting game as well. And right now I'm looking at it and people are asking the question, is this something that we should be concerned about? But I just think that he hit the rookie wall. The rookie wall happens to the best of them. It happened to Tony Parker back in the day. It happened to Lonnie Walker, happened to DeJounte Murray. It happened to
Luka.
Vassell. Yeah. It's happened to a lot of players.
I'm not saying that he's Luka. I'm not saying that we brought in a Samanich type draft pick here. But when the Spurs drafted Luka at what, 19?
Yes.
They thought they were the smartest guy in the room. They thought they'd had him. You could tell there was a smug he worked out at the combine for like 9 minutes. And they pulled him off because he had played so well. And they went and got him, and they thought they had found their dude. Mm-hmm. They were acting the same way when they drafted Josh Primo. Like, yeah, not a lot of talk about the guy. He's young and he's inexperienced, but we see something there. There's that it factor that we know when we see. It didn't show up with Luka. And I'm not saying that this is going to be Josh Primo. But the Spurs have not built up much credibility with me.
I trust Sam Presti. Sam Presti at Oklahoma City, he was after Primo, was trying to move up to get him. And when I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, there's something there, because I trust Sam Presti more than anybody in the Spurs front office at this point.
And
okay?
to this point, there's no reason to not trust the fact that Primo can be that, because I think we've all seen the glimpses. But Oklahoma City was on a different kind of a timeline,
right,
than the Spurs are.
And that's the thing. What is the timeline? Because Primo's timeline might be 4 years.
Well, you can't do that
Lonnie.
anymore.
We saw that with Lonnie. He's 19 years old. Primo should be a freshman in college right now. Okay, I know he played 1 year of college, but he skipped a year.
Are you making an excuse for him or the Spurs?
I'm making an excuse for both, because I think when he got drafted, we all had to come to grips with the fact that this was not going to be a 1 year turnaround for this guy. It was going to be a 3 or 4 year thing. Last night, Primo, 9 points, 4 of 19 shooting, 0 for 5 from 3, 7 turnovers in 34 minutes. Austin Spurs lost to the Legends 99-94. I'm not worried about it because, again, he's a young guy, and he's 2 years removed from high school, and he's not used to this type of travel, this number of games in a season, an 82-game season all over the country. He's not used to that, and we saw Keldon Johnson fall off a cliff as well his first full season with the Spurs. So not too worried about it, but Spurs, baby, back in action tomorrow. 8 of the next 9 games at home. I think the Spurs have a really good chance of making this play-in tournament. And because when we come back, we're going to be talking about some teams that are falling. And one I absolutely love. The LA Lakers lost again last night. They've lost 15 out of 21. And LeBron James' comments after the game kind of startled me because it didn't make any sense to me. We'll be getting into that. Again, we have callers calling into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 656 ESPN, for your chance to see Brooks and Dunn in concert, AT&T Center in June. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The Paul Feinbaum Show. It's the Jerry Springer of sports talk.
Let's try this again. This is Jim on the other line.
Yes, she won't let me talk, Paul. She knows I'll blast her all over the ceiling. You are a society snob. That's what you are, lady. And you're not a lady.
You hit people with a spitball.
You're a mad woman. You are a mad woman, lady.
Paul Feinbaum. Weekday afternoons at 2. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Do you have taxiety? That uncertain feeling before doing your taxes? Connect with Liberty Tax and then just breathe in and cash out.
Get your refund faster with direct deposit to a Deep Blue debit account.
Deep Blue.
Visit StopTaxiety.com to schedule your appointment, and let's end taxiety. Liberty Tax. Faster access to funds based on comparing refunds via direct deposit versus a mailed paper check. Terms and conditions apply.
To demonstrate the power of Cricket Nationwide 5G, we brought in this monster truck. And to tell you Cricket 5G is available on every plan at no extra charge, we brought in this fleet of monster trucks. Now that's power! Get powerful nationwide 5G on all plans at no extra charge. Plus a Cricket Dream 5G phone free when you switch. Tastes like power too. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Hi, Jason Minix here for River City Oral Surgery. If you're missing teeth, you may feel embarrassed when you laugh or smile. And missing teeth can also affect how you use your mouth. You could have trouble speaking, eating, and chewing properly. You can correct these issues with dental implants. They look natural, feel natural, and they're securely in place, built to last a lifetime with proper care. Mark Havercorn at River City Oral Surgery is an oral surgeon and a medical doctor who specializes in all types of oral surgery, including implants. Last year alone, he placed over 1,200 dental implants. River City Oral Surgery is a direct care practice. You don't need a referral. Prices are listed right on the website, rivercityoms.com, and financing is available. Stop feeling embarrassed when you smile. Call River City Oral Surgery at 210-778-0002 and tell them Jason sent you. For comfortable, natural-looking implants, call River City Oral Surgery, 210-778-0002.
Hello, Connecticut. May I help you?
This is Bill Tyson. Is this my Connecticut Pro?
Yes, Mr. Tyson. What can I do for you?
Calling from Yellowstone National Park.
Mm-hmm.
Old Faithful just erupted and reminded me I didn't set the vacation bypass in my Connecticut water conditioner. Would you run over to my house and set it? I've hidden the key under my door, man.
Well,
I forgot to set the bypass last year. I had that other brand, and the software used up 4,000 pounds of salt in a week.
Mr. Tyson, relax. With your new Connecticut, there is no vacation cycle or any worries about salt. If you don't use any water, your Connecticut won't either. We not only believe in saving salt, but also in saving water.
Would you go over and unplug it then? I'm trying to conserve electricity.
You forget that your Connecticut doesn't use electricity either. There's nothing to plug in. And don't forget that your Connecticut is also completely automatic.
I mean, I can relax and enjoy my whole vacation?
That's right.
This is great. I've got Old Faithful here at Yellowstone and an Old Faithful in my Connecticut water conditioner at home.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Connecticut. SA.com.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Upload a photo of what's on your grill and enter a description and recipe at sasportstar.com, and you can win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. Winner chosen every Thursday at 6 on the Blitz. Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star on ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Just search San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe, leave some comments. And, it's a big sports day. We have lots to talk about, but we also have lots of things to give away. We're giving away tickets to see Brooks and Dunn in concert, and also Coheed and Cambria. That'll be in the 1 o'clock hour. But for those who want to see Brooks and Dunn, they have to sing for their tickets, and we have Raymond on the phone right now. Let's see if you're good enough for these tickets, my man. How you doing, Raymond?
Michael, how's it going, Rob?
I got a question for you. Are you a Brooks or a Dunn fan? Is there one or the other that, is one carrying the other? I think Kix Brooks is carrying Dunn, has been for years.
That's what I say. I'm a Brooks fan, definitely, but I still love those guys, so I definitely would be.
Dude, I couldn't pick you. We interviewed Kix Brooks at the Super Bowl.
Really?
That he is legitimate music royalty, and he's just walking around the building, and we managed to sit down with the cat. He's kind of a radio guy. I had no idea when we talked to him just 2 weeks ago, Mike?
Yeah.
That they were coming to San Antonio. We'd have hit him up for some backstage passes. He didn't take care of us. But if you want to go, man, let's hear those golden tunes. Let's hear some Neon Moon.
I sure do, Rob. Here it goes. When the sun goes down on my side of town.
Gotta be honest, I expected more.
Come on, baby. We gotta bring it stronger, baby. Bring it stronger.
And the whole world turns blue. There's a rundown bar across the railroad.
Sound off like you got a pair. What are you, at church?
Way in the back where I sit alone and think of losing you.
We love you, Raymond. We do. But that was feeble. You got that was. I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, I think we need to hold on to these tickets.
Yeah,
man.
that one. I want to hear singing. You were like underneath the blankets, underneath the cover, so you didn't wake your mom up. No, we love you, man. We appreciate you. Hold on.
Thank you.
When you open up the mics like that, you never know what did you not expect more?
I did. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's an iconic song. We've all sung this song before. I mean, come on. It has to come off like you are in the shower. No one's listening. No one's in the house. And you're just belting it out, man.
What are the other
other
Brooks
songs
and
from
Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn? I don't know, man. I mean, I was single back in the 90s when Brooks and Dunn was a big deal, right? So I knew how to two-step to Neon Moon.
Has it been that long?
It has been that long. I mean, I'm sure they're still really, really big. I mean, I know they're very popular. By the way, 656 ESPN, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open, 656 ESPN. We'll get Raymond's information just in case. But if there's another singer coming in who can beat him, you're getting tickets to see Brooks and Dunn, AT&T Center in June. Because probably the Spurs won't be in the NBA Finals, right? So the AT&T's open that week.
Yeah, I think they're safe.
It's funny. We got a little bit of a scare there, Dallas Cowboy fans. Last night, we saw that press conference that Coach Mike McCarthy had, and just very nonchalantly saying, oh, yeah, we had a bunch of players, 8 players who had surgery. Dak Prescott was one of them. And everyone just looked at each other like, did he just say Dak Prescott had surgery? And I know it's the non-throwing shoulder and whatnot, and he says that everything is fine. But, Rob, do you think this is a big deal to make this announcement? I mean, because, it doesn't mean it's going to heal properly, right?
Well, there's a couple things. First, don't tell me a surgery is no big deal after it's been done. You can tell me ahead of time, like, look, the docs looked at this. This is what we're going to do. And in the parlance of what these doctors do, this is no big deal. And then you go have the surgery and say, we were right. It was no big deal. He's back at work and you're not even going to know the difference. Then there is, oh no, let's go see what's going on. It's surgery for something, but there might be something worse. Is what I figure happened, that he'd been playing hurt and there was a potential that it was more than it was. And it turned into a cleanup and he's back. I look at this on two different sides. First of all, he played every game. He played. There were some accuracy questions, nothing new, but there were some questions for the last game that Michael Irvin brought up regarding, look, man, or Troy Aikman actually brought it up regarding Michael Irvin. Said, if I was quarterback in that 49er game and I looked over and saw them playing soft all day long, Michael Irvin would have had 10 catches in the first half. Well, could we look back at that game and go, Troy was right. Dak wasn't able to deliver the ball.
Let's make more excuses for Dak. That's what that sounds like.
I'm not making excuses. What I'm headed toward is, did McCarthy not put his player in a position to be successful?
Dak Prescott's infallible. He can't do anything wrong. It is wrong to criticize Dak Prescott. That is the belief of most Dallas Cowboy fans. But it's the one, because he's elite, right? I mean, if everything was in place, he's an elite player. And don't get me wrong, I think that Dak Prescott's a very good quarterback and a very good leader. So I'm not really saying that he's a bad player or anything like that. But it's just been one of those things where it's never on him. And this injury right here, maybe it is something. Maybe there was something there that prevented him from being the quarterback that he could be. But at the same time, it feeds into that narrative of, well, here comes another excuse for him. Because that's all that we ever hear when it comes to Dak Prescott. It's just another excuse, another excuse. Fact of the matter is that they did not force the ball into their playmakers. They allowed defenses to get CeeDee Lamb off the field, if you will, because
you talk about this 12-5 offense that led the NFL in points and yards.
Yes.
Okay, so we're making excuses for that guy.
Yeah, okay. because some of those statistics are.
Dude, you jumped into a deep pool. I wasn't trying to jump on Dak. I'm just what my concern. It goes even deper. We saw Mike McCarthy keep running Zeke, though he knew we didn't, that he had a PCL tear. He knew we didn't. We're trying to. Why aren't we seeing more? What Zeke's a warrior.
We find out after the fact.
And I claim that's not Zeke's fault. That's McCarthy's fault.
Well, let's hear from Coach Mike McCarthy saying, "Hey, no big deal. No big deal at all."
Cleanup of his left shoulder. No, I don't see it. It's not a concern. We have no concern. He's doing well. I'm sorry.
We were concerned last week before, but now we're fine.
I don't think so. I mean, Dak practiced. He practiced. Full go. Throughout. But, it's just something he felt like he needed to get cleaned up.
That was a very awkward press conference, because you just see Mike McCarthy just twisting in the wind, having to answer these questions about injuries, having to answer these questions about Sean Payton, saying things like, I'm not worried about Sean Payton because I have a really good relationship with Jerry and Stephen Jones. And it was so awkward because all of the questions being asked of him made him defensive. I think Mike McCarthy did a good job like standing up for himself and being forthcoming. But man, it was just a very awkward press conference. And he just twisted in the wind the entire time.
Well, can you imagine? The last time we spoke was after a loss. And since we spoke, Your chief of PR has been fired. There was this internal sexual harassment thing that's been going on forever that we didn't know. You did, we didn't. There were some allegations about his owner. You got to break the news that your quarterback just had surgery for an injury we didn't even know he freaking had. Your GM is being asked whether the three cornerstones on this team at least 1 year ago, DeMarcus Law and Amari Cooper and Zeke Elliott, are even going to be on the freaking team. That's the hurricane that McCarthy stepped into. And then you add in the narrative that a guy is being actively courted as the next head coach by your owner at some point, even though after a while the denials came, who has done nothing more than you have in his tenure in the NFL. He has one Super Bowl done with one great quarterback, McCarthy. So he stepped into a difficult situation, and I like McCarthy as much as any other guy. That one was a tough one, and I congratulate him for getting through, but man, some of this is on you as well.
I wonder if this team's going to be better or worse this upcoming season, because I don't know. Cowboys, $22 million over the cap. Lots of reports out there saying that out of these four players, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Randy Gregory, Tank Lawrence, that two of the four are likely gone.
And let's add in one other issue that we're still not talking about, a first-place schedule.
Exactly. It's going to be a harder schedule because they had a very cupcake schedule this past season. Hey, real quick, Los Angeles Lakers lost 15 of 21 games, and they are dropping like a rock, like a boulder down a cliff, because right now they're 2 games away from being out of the play-in tournament. Can you imagine that, Rob? Can you imagine if LeBron James not only misses the playoffs, but misses the play-in tournament?
What did Miami look like when he left? What did Cleveland look like when he left? Looks a lot like the Lakers do now.
Yeah.
I mean, he the destruction that he wrought, he will run from. It's so easy to blow him up. I watched a little bit of the game last night. He alone was standing against. He was one of the mighty 300. I mean, he alone fought that fight. Nobody else on that Lakers squad fought last night. For whether it was Vogel pulling him out, and I know a lot of the points that LeBron pulled in were garbage minutes, but at the end of the game, did you see who had to guard Luka? The 37-year-old LeBron. Now, Luka was eating him alive, but Vogel, the best you can do is a 38-year-old man against Luka at the end of a game on game 40 of the season.
Now, understand, LeBron leads the league in walking and has been for many, many years. Have you seen that stat of the player that walks the most on the court? It's LeBron. LeBron only plays offense, and he plays no defense for 3 quarters, and then they ask him to play D at the end of each game. That's the way that he plays. After the game last night, he said that the team still has a chance and says, quote, until you bury me 12 feet under, then we've got a chance.
So you stomp me out, right?
12 feet under? Is he that tall that 6 feet wasn't enough? You have to go 12 feet when it comes to LeBron. But they're dropping so fast. So right now, they're 2 games away from dropping out of the 10 spot. Spurs right now are 2 games away from getting into the 10 spot. So they might pass each other up in the next month or so. Very fascinating because, again, the Lakers have lost 15 of 21. And by the way, last night, the Brooklyn Nets also lost to the Raptors, lost by 1 point. It was weird seeing that starting lineup because that starting lineup for the Nets last night had LaMarcus Aldridge and Patty Mills in silver and what do you call it, gray and black. It looked a little bit familiar.
Almost worked. They had lost to the Raptors at home by what, 36?
Yeah.
They go up to Toronto and squeeze it out. It looked a little silver and blackish, and LaMarcus and Patty played well. I was impressed with the game, if not the outcome. With the Lakers and also with Brooklyn, it's easy to throw dirt on them until we see Anthony Davis back. You know, I'm all about counting him out. I hate seeing purple and yellow in the playoffs. Yeah. But until, like he was saying, until the dagger is in the heart, we have killed the vampire with the dagger or the silver bullet to the Wolfman, I'm not going to count him out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because once Anthony Davis comes back, that is a different roster.
It is a different team, but they have no shooters.
Oh, there's a lot of problems.
They have no shooters, and the great thing is that the Lakers front office told LeBron James to go kick rocks because LeBron James was the one who brought Russell Westbrook to that team. They could have had Buddy Hield. They didn't do it. They had a deal in place. They got Russell Westbrook instead, and the season has just been awful because they have no shooters, and Russell Westbrook isn't a shooter. So it's fascinating because they don't have draft capital. They have bad contracts that are overinflated, and they have a superstar who can't do anything about it other than sulk because he doesn't have a player option.
Well, their primary problem, Mike, is if you really deep dig into their roster, is now they're fresh out of Aggies. See, when they had a Caruso and they had a DeAndre Jordan, they had 2 Aggies. Now they have no Aggies, as they cut DeAndre yesterday or day before.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for the primary issue with the Lakers, it's a lack of Aggies.
All right, I'll buy that. All right. Hey, we have more to come here on halftime.
Milwaukee, they got one Aggie.
They do in Middleton, right?
Yes.
Hey, this is your chance to win tickets to see Brooks and Dunn in concert. Brooks and Dunn. Why am I saying in Dunn? Brooks and Dunn in concert. AT&T Center in June. Call 656
I think we should
ESPN.
ask our callers to name other Brooks and Dunn songs. What if we gave them a list of songs and they had to pick out the correct title of a Brooks and Dunn song?
We'll figure this out on the other side. But again, if you want to have a chance to win tickets, we're giving them away in the next 10 minutes. Call right now, 656 ESPN. Also, there's a show that I want to talk about with Rob because it intrigued me on R&R in the morning. It was kind of tawdry. It was a little bit, what did you say? It was kind of...
It was Skinamax, this soft core.
Soft core. So I got to get the name of that show. So we'll talk about that on the other side. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.
Roll home with Joe Reinagle and Jason Minix. The ride home made easy. The Blitz. This afternoon at 4. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
In the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy revealed yesterday in Indianapolis at the scouting combine that Dak Prescott was one of 8 players that underwent offseason surgery. Dak had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder and what was called a minor cleanup and isn't expected to impact the offseason schedule. In the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks handed the Lakers their 3rd straight loss with a 109-104 win led by Luka Doncic's 25 points. And in college basketball, TCU upset 6th-ranked Kansas 74-64 to strengthen their tournament case. Tonight, fighting Texas A&M Aggies return to action for their second-to-last game of the regular season when they head to Tuscaloosa to take on the 25th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide at 6. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Rudy Jay.
You can talk low carb all you want, but if you don't have a lineup of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the keto game. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds are high protein and low carb. Plus, they're low sugar, gluten-free, and naturally loaded in collagen. So it is a no-brainer. Get the bold flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds. On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light. and give you possible solutions verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Do you love your garage? Can you get your cars and the kids' bikes in? Jason Minix here for Garageization, your garage storage solution. With a variety of shelving, overhead racks, slat walls, and closed cabinet options, Garageization can make your garage functional for the entire family. Call 210-664-4494 and have them give you a free customized plan for your family's needs. For over a decade, Garageization has helped people love their garage. Learn more online at GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel. San Antonio Sports Star Drive to End Hunger is going on now through March 25th. Just go to sasportstar.com to give what you can or just find drop-off locations. It's all presented by the Institute for Functional Health, Rambler Sparkling Water, Copenhagen Imports, and Airtron.
It's Rob Thompson. Join Rudy Jay and I tomorrow morning from 7 till 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Stars, sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Live on Facebook and YouTube right now. My favorite comment of the day so far comes from Rodrigo. Says, Mike doesn't get back on defense in pickup games at Miller's Pond. I knew it. I knew he snowbirds. Dude, that's so funny because I used to play pickup games at Miller's Pond growing up.
Pond. That's my old neighborhood, man. I grew up down there.
That's
That
over.
is amazing that you made it all the way down to Miller's Pond.
Well, I mean, come on, 410 and Ingram wasn't that far. I mean, it was about a 15, 20 minute
head
drive.
down to Medina Base Road like that, or Pearsall. I mean, my gosh, you're heading down to the, mi barrio, mi place, man. I grew up there. There wasn't a gym there. There was a pond. We used to fish bodies out of there for fun.
Well, they have a great gym back there. At least they used to back in the 90s. We would rent it out. We'd have men's league basketball games there. It was good times, man. But Miller's Pond, I loved it. And I was a good player, man. I was telling Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs at Ken's 5, I wasn't a great player. I was a decent basketball player growing up. But back in 1996, when San Antonio hosted the NBA All-Star Game, they had a 3-on-3 challenge over at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to 6'2" and under the age of 20, that category, me and three of my friends, we won that league. We won the All-Star celebration thing. You know, we won like 6 games to make it happen.
A 3-on-3 tournament down there.
Yeah,
you play in the courthouse there behind the it was the parking lot behind the courthouse. Or was the one in the convention center that was put on by the NBA?
It was put on by the
Hoop
NBA.
It Up by the NBA.
Yeah, it was good times, man.
Those guys were my competitors. I know we're going to give away some tickets. I want to talk real quickly. Do this more professionally. David Aylor, for those of you who know, Dave Aylor is a producer, an engineer, a radio guy through and through that's been working across the street for a long time. Dave has taken another job. He's leaving our competitors, and as a worthy competitor they've been, I'm happy that Dave Aylor is leaving. He is headed up to St. Louis. I want to say goodbye to Dave. Today's his last day over there across the street, and we are celebrating your absence and your exit because you're a worthy competitor and a good man. Dave Aylor, congratulations and going back home to St. Louis. You've meant a lot to the radio community here in San Antonio. If you've been in this business more than 15 years, you have worked at some point with Dave Aylor. It's been a pleasure knowing you, man. We can look forward to better and better things in St. Louis. Get on out of here, Dave. Let's move along.
Very cool. Congratulations. Hey, as we said, we're giving away tickets to see Brooks and Dunn in concert June at the AT&T Center. And we're asking people to sing for the tickets. And we have, our phone lines are lit up, so we're going to go through it real fast. Jonathan C., you're first up, my man. You're on line 1. What's going on, Jonathan?
Hey, Jimenez. Hey, Rob. Look, I want to get back to Lonnie Walker because you guys just think he's the next big thing when he's not. You know,
you guys.
I understand what he's done. Past the trade deadline, but I look at overall what he's been to the Spurs. After his third year, he had a nice. He's produced, but ever since then, he's kind of been stagnant. And this is a contract year where he needs to go all out, and I feel like he's not doing that. But with that being said, somebody will pay this man. But they're going to overpay, and I don't want the Spurs to overpay. We can go to the draft and find another one of him in a minute.
Oh my goodness, we'll have to wait like 3 years for it to develop, though, man. That's the thing. Let's hear it, man.
Appreciate it, man.
What's your favorite Brooks and Dunn song? By the way, I did not realize they sing "Boot Scoot and Boogie." That's another song that they have. But
you know
Jonathan, let's hear 5 seconds.
Neon Moon, so let's go, Boot Scoot and Boogie.
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Out in the country, past the city limit signs, and there's a honky tonk near the county line. The joints start jumping every night when the sun goes down.
I feel like he's dancing right now. I feel like he's line dancing as he's singing so he can get the words out on beat.
Women and smokes.
The last time I called to win some tickets, I accidentally sang a rock song. I don't know if you remember. We were at R&J Saloon, and it was supposed to be a Christmas carol, and I totally botched that. I just want to apologize to everybody on air.
Well, you came back.
With a little hangover there. I apologize to all the sports songs.
Let's get his information real fast. We'll do one more. Thanks for the call, Jonathan. Hey, let's also take a look at let's see who else is calling in here. We got Tyler on the line. What's up, Tyler? Oh, sorry, Garrett. I'm sorry. Hey, what's up, Garrett?
Garrett.
So, man, you got a sports take, or are you just gonna do the singing?
My sports take is I love you guys, man. I've been listening to y'all for years. Y'all talk sports, your stories are sports related, so I always tune in to listen to y'all.
Appreciate you.
My favorite song is the Neon Moon, and if you want me to sing,
let's hear it, baby.
When the sun goes down on my side of town, that lonesome feeling comes to my door, and the whole world turns blue. There's a rundown bar across the railroad track.
I think we got lost in the lyrics, but hey, man, he's singing.
Yeah, I like it. We're going to keep your information real fast because we have 2 others to go through. Who's next, Edwin? No more.
We're done.
No more. Edwin, thank you so much for that. So who do we think here? We're looking Garrett, or are we thinking Jonathan? The first one? Jonathan C., congratulations. You're going to go check out
If for
Brooks
no other
and
reason,
Dunn.
Jonathan wins because he at least sang the right song. He understood the assignment.
Well, he didn't sing Neon Moon. He did. He called an audible on himself and did Boot Scoot and Boogie.
I guess that's true.
Which again is
still
another song
on topic. Name one more off the top of your head.
It's funny because Pledger was telling me some. One is called Texas Women Aren't Single for Long.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, so there you go. We'll be giving away more tickets. Also tickets on the Blitz with Joe and Jason.
Are we going to do the same thing for the Coheed and Cambria?
I want to figure that one out, man, because I don't know if that's as popular as Brooks and Dunn, but we have another hour to go here on halftime at the San Antonio Sports Star. You know, it's Movie Review Wednesday, so at 1:30, Terminator 2, T2, finally saw it for the first time last night. We'll be talking more about the Spurs on the other side. We'll be back after this. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
The storyline of Kanye is entertaining.
I'm telling you, and bless his heart. I say that in both.
You sound like a country dude. Like, that's all country folks say, bless his heart.
I know that he's got some medical issues that he doesn't tend to.
That's another country word, tend to. Well, that's country. It don't get no more country than tend to.
Rob Thompson, Rudy Jay, weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They are reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate at 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
On Saturday, April 2nd, help us celebrate 100 years of Valero Texas Open and be part of our Texas Size Anniversary concert featuring performances by Jason Aldean and Darius Rucker. All concert tickets holders are invited to attend the Valero Texas Open's third round competition preceding the concert, all taking place at TPC San Antonio. With limited tickets remaining, visit ValeroTexasOpen.com to get yours today.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer? A big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. Have you ever cooked a really fine gourmet meal? Yeah, me neither. But I'm told it all comes down to the ingredients. And when I need ingredients to improve my car, the place I go is eBay Motors. Whether you roasted your last transmission, graded your current floor mats, or pureed your side view mirror on a lamppost, eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And by the way, if you recently fired up your grill, don't worry, eBay Motors has grills too. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Today on Hey Culligan, sustainability and better water. Here's Sam.
Hey Culligan, I'm really into sustainability. My clothes, my utensils, my food. But how do I get more sustainability from my water?
Super question, Sam, and the answer is an always-on drinking water system from Culligan, which helps eliminate the equivalent of 15 billion single-use plastic bottles a year.
Whoa, that's a ton of sustainability.
416,000 tons, Sam, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
My name is Kelly. I want to tell you about Dr. Jacob Torres and Institute for Functional Health. I met Dr. Torres years ago. I was gaining that middle-aged bulge, feeling less energetic, and I had aches and pains in my back and shoulder. My cholesterol, blood sugar, and other measurable numbers were okay, but not good. My cardiologist suggested if I did not change my habits, I may need to start taking pills to manage my health. I was not looking forward to spending Sunday evenings counting up my pills for the week. I phoned Institute for Functional Health to set an appointment with Dr. Torres. Over the next few weeks, Dr. Torres totally changed my life. I do not take medicines. I lost over 40 pounds, and my weight has remained amazingly consistent. Most importantly, I feel great. Dr. Torres is my hero. He changed my life.
We can visit with you over the phone and virtually. We work with your insurance company, and it costs you nothing to call and consult with us. I am Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. Call me for a free consultation over the phone, 468-1891, 468-1891.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN, AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime. It's hour number 2 of halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Search San Antonio Sports Star. My name is Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2, sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Rob Thompson's here with me today.
I'm the nostalgia.
You are nostalgic. And, let's talk about some pop culture because some breaking news coming into the San Antonio Sports Star, if you will.
Is this breaking news, really?
Well, it is because during the commercial break, this story dropped.
Okay.
A judge has ruled Kim Kardashian, quote, legally single amid her ongoing divorce from Kanye West.
See, I don't understand that sentence. If the divorce is ongoing, how can you be declared single?
That's the thing. So over the last 3 minutes during the commercial break, I was just looking this up because you asked the question, can she now get married? She's been dating Pete Davidson since October. If she wants to get married to him, can she? Because she is legally single, but she is also legally married. I don't get this, but I'm reading a report right now, both on Insider Magazine and People.com, basically saying that this might be a new thing in California. Of course, it has to start in California, where you're legally single, only the divorce has not been finalized. Like personally, you can move on, but financially, you're still working things out. And apparently what's going on is she's basically saying, look, I want this divorce to be over with, but Kanye's dragging his feet.
Well,
and because of that, she wants to have this flexibility and freedom. Apparently, she's not the first person to do this, but she might be the most famous person to popularize this. Fascinating.
You know, this is one of those few big divorces where both of them are leaving with a lot of money. And I don't think I don't know what the difference in monetary worth is between the two, but I figure they're both in the same ballpark before and after.
I would say so. And they have 4 children, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm, ages 8, 6, 4, and 2.
What? What were their names?
North?
Sounded like Wordle clues.
North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm.
Is North a male or a female name?
I believe North is a female name.
And is Psalm, I'm not sure. I'm not talking about who it was assigned to, but beforehand, if you were going, Psalm, that's a boy name. Psalm, is that a boy name or a girl name?
This reminds me of a meme because the name Psalm of someone says, I got kicked out of Christian Mingle because my profile said, come get Psalm. And it just reminds me of that because that's a name.
Well, it's not a name, it's a word.
It's a word. I guess it's song, right? But it makes sense. He's a singer. He's a rapper. You know, Psalm doesn't that mean song?
Well, no, Psalm is a book in the Bible,
right?
Psalms.
Oh,
now,
the Song of
Psalms are
Psalms.
essentially a psalm. At least in there is more of a lyric and a poem that can be applied. I would call it more of a lyric.
Okay.
Than a poem,
but legally single, so that means we don't know what that means. I mean, I get it because there are some people who drag their feet and some people say, hey, I want to get divorced right now. I am now legally single to do single things. But I think that wrinkle in there of, well, what about getting married? What about entering into contracts? That's so, I'm so fascinated by this. I will be reading up on this later on today.
I wonder what this means in the soon to be stalking case that Kanye's going to have to deal with as they charge him with this. It appears to me he spends a lot of his waking time. I saw a picture with his latest girlfriend who looks exactly like Kim Kardashian, and he can't seem to let this Pete Davidson thing go.
Yes.
And now that they're divorced, I wonder if the restraining order is imminent.
Yeah, I saw a caption the other day that said, you'll never find another one like me. And then they show the photo of Kim Kardashian with this girl. They look identical to each other, with the same hair, with the same body dimensions, with the same
dunk.
Yeah, the same glasses. Yeah, there was a second Kim Kardashian out there, and Kanye West found her.
It's a fembot. She's not human.
Oh, she isn't. It reminds me, man, there was this time I had a friend of mine who got divorced. Oh my God, it's been about 15, 20 years ago. And the next person that he was involved with looked identical to his ex-wife.
Everybody's got a type.
It was beyond having a type. This was identical. Like we couldn't tell the difference between the two. Why would someone do that?
Everybody's got a type. You fall back on that type. I know that I've gone through your exact story 15 times in my life. With a divorce, the next after the divorce looks exactly like. It's common. Everybody's got a type. You fall back to your comfort zone.
Interesting. Hey, while we're on some pop culture topics, you were talking on R&R in the morning. Gonna be honest with you, man.
Oh, man.
I have not laughed so hard at your show in so long. Again, it's a funny show. You and Rudy do a fantastic job together, but you, Rudy, and Pledger were just cracking up because you were talking about some show that you were watching. Was it Netflix or where were you watching?
It's a Netflix show called The Great. And I just was looking for something we had watched basketball last night, and to keep peace in the house. It was 9 o'clock or 9:15, and I told my wife, "Is there anything you want to watch?" She went to Netflix and says, "Oh, I've read about this. It's The Saint." And I read the description of the series, and I thought I read farce. I thought I read it was a comedy, but it turns out it's just a ripoff of Bridgerton. It's set in Russia with Catherine the Great marrying Peter the Great's son, and there's some historical facts that are true, but it really just turned into a skin-a-back sex romp after about 20 minutes. So obviously I'm interested. I mean, it kind of got me in, but I don't normally watch those kind of shows with my wife. I didn't watch Bridgerton. That's, she would go in the other room and watch her shows while I'm watching sports. I didn't care about that. So
when you say these types of shows, you talk about historical dramas.
No, I love those.
Or are you talking about Skinamax?
No, the Skinamax kind of stuff, because those movies are made for a purpose that sometimes I'm not in a situation to realize the purpose those movies were made for.
Okay.
I don't know how else to put that. So at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, that is not something that, as an old married man who gets to get up at 4 and my wife has to get up early, it's not a common thing on a Tuesday night. So we're watching this show that has a lot of action, if you know what I mean, that in my younger years would have been squiggled. So it's about, 10:15, 10:30, and it's time to go to bed. My wife's like, "You want to go to bed?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And I very quickly realized it was like watching a cooking show and finding out that the kitchen was closed because I had achieved a certain amount of hunger, let's say. And she just went to bed like it was no big deal. Like, we can't do this. We can't do it this way because, I'm a visual type.
I'm a visual type.
I'm a visual learner.
Dude, the way that you wordsmith this is amazing.
It's a tap dance for sure. I just felt like I had been, it was not, if I'd have known what I was getting into, I wouldn't have turned it on.
I heard a phrase while I was in Seattle, someone who was giving a tour of the underground in Seattle. They used the phrase negotiable affections, which is basically
negotiable affection.
Yeah, which basically means you do this, you do that, I get this, that type of thing.
Kind of a quid pro quo thing.
Yeah. So I asked my wife the other day, I was like, negotiable affection, because she laughed at that term.
But how would a tour guide throw in negotiable affection into a tour?
Well, it was talking about the fact that the city of Seattle was built
over all those tunnels. Yeah,
was built over the tunnels, but above all that, it was financed by a madam, and basically the Great Fire in Seattle in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that there was a run on the banks. And long story short, the only one who made money, that had the most amount of money and the most amount of property there, happened to be the madam of that town. And it's called a negotiable affection, is what they were calling it. It was their way of saying quid pro quo. You give me money, I give you affection, or whatever the case may be. But I started using that term with my wife, just kind of tongue in cheek.
I like that, though.
Negotiable affection.
Negotiable affection.
I'll rub your back for half an hour. Come on, we'll make this happen.
Everything can be had for a price. It doesn't have to be monetary.
It's not monetary.
No.
It could be cooking. It could be cleaning the house. It could be whatever. We are all in that category.
Absolutely.
Because again, Rob, you are married. I am married. And it's so funny. We talked to Pledger, who's never been married. And he hears our conversations, our stories, and goes, why would I ever want to be that? Why would I ever want to get married and to have a negotiable affection, and it's just true. That's what happens. It's just.
See, for those of you that are unmarried, when you're about to take your oath, take the vows, whether you're in front of a JP or at your church, there's going to be somebody that's going to walk up and hand you a manual. We don't talk about it. And you're going to get this manual, and all those things that we're talking about now, they're in the manual. But somebody is going to hand you one right before you go, I do. And then you're going to open it up and said, I might not have said I do if I did this, if I knew this. But there's a manual that all of us married men have put together over these thousands of years that we've kind of put for the next generation. These are the things you want to do, you don't want to do to make this happy. It's up to you to abide by them.
There's a point system that does exist. You do laundry, there's a point system. You do dishes, you cook, you do whatever. There's a point system for negotiable affections, for various things. For negotiable affections, or for guys' night out, or for a weekend trip with your friends. It does exist, and I understand that manual.
We're here to help.
It's been laminated, And the second that Pledger tells us that he's going to get married, he says, "I do."
No, we're not allowed to hand it to you until you're literally at the place where you're getting married. We don't want to give you a chance to run, and we really don't want to give you a chance to even read it. We're just going to make sure you've got it. And then when you've done the deed and you've signed the contract, then you get to open it up and you go, so this is the small print I've been speeding by in my I agreements. So if I'd have seen this, I might not have agreed to all of my history being available to the entire world. See, we wait until you're actually there, and you're going to go ahead and click OK because you're ready to download the app. So it's the same thing here. You're going to click OK, and then you're going to realize, can I change my settings?
No,
you really can't.
And we act and sound like we are opposed to this.
No,
we have become
There's great benefit
comfortable
in structure.
in these walls.
Yes.
It's kind of like the Shawshank Redemption and Red saying that we get attached to these walls. We depend on these walls. We live on these walls. We want these walls. And that's what it is. Because if I was ever single again, and Rob, if you were ever single again, that might be fun for like a week and a half, and
No.
we'd be in a gutter somewhere for the rest of our lives.
Lost the ability to take care of myself. It's no longer possible. It's sad but true.
You're a house dog.
Well, I tell this. I tell this story a lot. It's been a couple of years ago. It was a Thanksgiving, and all of the wives were complaining about their husbands over and over. And it was my wife's turn. So she turns, and my mother, of course, the matriarch of the family, and she goes, your son continually takes his socks off and leaves them on the coffee table. Your son. And my mom turned to him and said, you've had him longer than me. It's your fault. Which just goes to show that no matter who it is, I'm no longer capable.
The wedding song that my wife and I had was called I Love You by Climax Blues Band. And if you don't know the lyrics to that song, it's basically saying that she rescued me from the gutter. And now that I think about it, I was not a catch. She completely.
I think we can all say that.
Yeah, she completely missed out because I'm a relative catch now, Rob Thompson.
In your own humble opinion.
In my own humble opinion. I'm a better catch now than I was 10 years ago because 10 years ago, I was picking up in a car.
You got more zeros in your bank account.
Well, and I actually have a car that starts because the car that I had back then, I would have to pop open the hood, and I'd have to like shake the battery. It was so bad.
We've all been there.
The seats were all ripped up. It was bad. I was off a divorce from a few years past, and I was in a bad state, and she did rescue me. So, that's why I put up with a lot.
Negotiable affection.
Negotiable affections.
That's the word for the day.
Yes. But speaking about negotiations, it's going to take even bigger negotiations to get baseball season back on track because right now, it looks like we've already lost some games already. The announcement was made yesterday that the first two series of the baseball season were canceled. And to be honest with you, Rob, didn't matter to me, man.
Are you assigning blame? When you see this happening, is there one side that you look at as the reason or the fault?
99% of the time, I agree with the players. But when it comes to baseball, those guys have it pretty good. And I understand that they don't want to give up ground. I understand that they worked hard, the players committee and all that stuff. They worked hard to get what they've got, and they want to expand on that because no one wants to give up what they've already earned. I get that. But when you take a look at what the NFL players have when it comes to guarantees, when you take a look at what basketball players have when it comes to guarantees, the Major League Baseball players have it easy.
So they should quit because they're better. They got it better off than the other three leagues.
No, they shouldn't quit, but they have no leverage because they're not going to get public support from this. Not during a pandemic and not during times of high inflation and not during times where people are struggling to make ends meet. They're not going to have the ability to go out there and say, we're taking a stand for ourselves because we want our minimum salary to go from $575 to $750. They're not going to get that public relations win. And I understand the billionaires have more money, and I know the billionaires are sitting there laughing because these players, many of them, they could be making $1 million, $2, $3 million a year. They're paycheck to paycheck, and the owners know that.
They do. So you look at this as an equal fault situation, and for the most part, it is.
It is.
You said it, I think, more clearly than most. I don't care. You don't care. I don't care. Well, we don't care about baseball till later. Now, there is the 20% of American sports fan that is devastated today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just such a small Jeff Passan worshiping group of guys that it's minor. they have relegated themselves into a minor side. Edwin is a baseball fan. Edwin lives for the Brewers. But Edwin you're in the minority, man. You are. I mean, if you're living for baseball, 1 in 15, I would say sports fan, and this is over no empirical data, would rank baseball their favorite sport. Their favorite sport to watch, their favorite sport to follow, the only sport they watch, the only sport they follow. Baseball would be probably as small as hockey right now. And I know you have to talk about the grand existential, we're getting too big. This is all about money that's coming in. But I look at this like, I don't care who's wrong. You're both at fault. It's the billionaires dealing with the millionaires. But even better, I like that the season has been postponed. Fewer games. Those that will be played will be more important. And that's my issue with baseball anyway. So this is playing right into my hands. I'll get baseball eventually. In fact, let's what are we, 91 games down?
Yes. Well, 91, but it's basically 5 games each or 6 games each.
5 or 6 days. I'm down to if we missed another 56 games per team, I'd still be down.
Now, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred has basically said, look, we've come to an agreement on certain things, that they are willing to increase the minimum wage, if you will, the minimum salary for players. They're willing to increase the ability to have. They even talked about the fact that there might be some sort of lottery when it comes to baseball.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sticking points, though, was about the playoff system. And Rob Manfred basically says, hey, we're making some movement on that, too.
We also listen to our fans. The expanded playoffs would bring the excitement of meaningful September baseball and postseason baseball to fans in more markets. While we preferred the 14-team format, when the format became a significant obstacle, we listened to the players' concerns and offered a compromise by accepting the 12-team format. Finally, we offered a procedural agreement that would allow for the timely implementation of sorely needed rules like the pitch timer and the elimination of shifts to improve the entertainment value of the game on the field. And we agreed to the universal DH.
Wow.
Crash Davis and Bull Durham would not have liked that, because he says, quote, I believe there ought to be a constitutional amendment outlawing AstroTurf and the designated hitter. So Crash Davis, Kevin Costner back in the day. No, I'm looking at this and I like a lot of that. I'm okay with the playoffs expanding a little bit. The owners wanted 14 teams. It looks like the players wanted 12 and they're going to stick to 12.
No, it's 10.
Oh, there's 10.
Players wanted 10.
Players wanted 10, but they're going to probably settle on 12.
Mm-hmm.
That's how negotiations work.
I don't understand that. Keep in mind in the playoffs, that's when the owners make their money, because at that point, contracts don't matter. It's playoff pie that they're paying their players from. So it is gravy that the owners want. They want more playoffs. I don't understand why the players are so adamant about fewer playoff games. I don't get that. There's probably a financial reason deeper than anything else, but that's the one part of what the players are sticking with that I don't get.
Do you know what's odd about baseball is that they play in 100-degree weather the entire season, and the World Series is played in 40-degree weather. It's like 40 degrees when they're out there. You can see the heat coming from their mouth. It's just so weird.
Well, a couple of things he said. Meaningful games in September. That was the management side of things, saying we're excited that we're trying to get meaningful games in September. Mm-hmm. Well, for average fan like me, who has a choice to watch baseball, playoff basketball in June, now it appears I'm going to have some football to watch. You better be giving me some meaningful games in June. I think you're focusing on the wrong part of the season. I'll be your baseball fan in late September, October. That's when it gets good. Find a way to get me interested before the All-Star game. There's where you've got to go and find a way to get me interested. And I think it's just the number of games. 182 is too many. If we're talking 100, maybe I'm interested in June because it now matters a bit more than it did.
If you take a look at TV ratings, it's interesting because if you have a team in your city, the ratings are decent. But if you don't have a team in your city, it doesn't exist. In the NFL right now, huge ratings in San Antonio because people watch the Cowboys, watch the Texans, or whoever, right? There's big ratings in San Antonio, even though we don't have a team. But in baseball, you get huge ratings in Houston, huge in Chicago, huge in LA. Everywhere else, awful ratings. That's just the way that it is. It's a regionalized game. It's no different than NASCAR. It's turned into NASCAR.
They've lost us.
And the thing about baseball, though, it used to be my favorite sport. Growing up, I was a huge baseball fan. I've got 40,000 baseball cards from the 80s to prove it. I was a big fan. And as time went on, just didn't like it, man. It just got to the point where there was a big disparity when it came to the haves and the have-nots. And they're talking about that. Commissioners basically saying that, hey, we're trying to make sure that there's a competitive balance, but the players don't want that. It's just, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's...
I want to say something. When you hear competitive balance, what do you think that means? What in the grandest scheme of professional sports, when you hear we are trying to achieve competitive balance?
The NFL did that in the 90s.
Well, tell me what you think. What does that mean to you?
Well, what it means to me and what it means to an MLB commissioner might be two different things.
But what my concern here is everybody hears these terms that can be defined by our own experience.
Right.
And it doesn't mean the same thing to me as it does to you. And when we're negotiating, we have to always be on the same page or we're really not negotiating. So when you come to me and say, I am trying to preserve and to maintain the competitive balance of Major League Baseball, what do you think the competitive balance is? Is it wins and losses or is it money?
I'm not sure because there was no competitive balance to begin with. So what are they preserving? Because you take a look at it, you have some teams that outspend the lower end teams by 3 or 4 times the amount, and it's, you have a $40 million team and a $160 million team. And that's what I don't like. The NFL was like that. It was an arms race in the 90s. It was the Niners. It was the Cowboys. They outspent everybody and they got a lot of rings because of it.
Well, there's a lot of teams that spend a lot of money. Just because they spent money doesn't make them good teams.
Right. But Edwin's Brewers aren't going to be one of the big spenders out there. That's never going to happen.
No, the small market teams are always going to be in this situation. But what my concern is when I hear competitive balance, what I personally hear is there is this X amount of money that we're all getting. Some of us as owners try really hard to win. Others of us as owners like having a team, but also like having that guaranteed bit of money, and I'm never spending over X. I'm getting $100 million in TV. I'm just making these numbers up. I'm getting $100 million in TV and revenue coming in. I have a payroll that will never exceed 80% of what's coming in. I'm always pulling 20% of this gravy in, and if I'm losing, I don't care. This is my family trust. I inherited this. I was born to this. I'm not selling the team. I'm not moving the team. This is our personal T-bill. And when you see that and you look at what Cincinnati has been for 35 years under Paul Brown, of the Brown family or whoever that is owning the Bengals, that's a small market team that decided for 30 years, look, the money coming in is enough. We're never going to spend big. We're never going to go get a free agent. We're not even going to try. And we're going to hope eventually to hire the right coach and draft appropriately so we can make ourselves relevant again. And they did. But as soon as that's over, do you think the Brown family is suddenly going to start spending a bunch of money? No, they're not. So the competitive balance to them is don't take away the money that I'm guaranteed. You're trying to take more of my money that I'm guaranteed. I'm still going to make money no matter what, but we need rules in place to protect me from myself and other owners. That's what I hear when I say maintaining the competitive balance. It's not about wins and losses. It's making sure that I take home 20% every year.
And that's the sad thing that we're hearing. We heard this about the Dolphins with Brian Flores, that teams are not trying to win sometimes.
So when I hear this, I fall on the side of the player, no matter what.
Now, in the NBA, they have not only a salary cap, but they have a salary floor as well. And I wonder if baseball has something like that, or they should implement it if they don't, where you have to spend at least a certain amount of the maximum cap. And they have that in the NBA. I would like to see that if it doesn't exist now.
I would imagine every negotiated agreement between a union and whatever has a floor. I would assume that, just like a minimum wage.
You got to raise that floor, man, because
yes, but are owners going to vote to raise their payroll? I don't think so. That's when I'm hearing this, I hear competitive balance and we're offering this and we're doing that. All I hear is you're trying to take away more of the money that I believe that is mine, that I'm going to get no matter my team wins 180 games or no games. I'm still getting this money and you're trying to take it away from me. The competitive balance is in flux.
Well, I mean, take a look at this. The lowest spending team last year in payrolls was the Baltimore Orioles at $42 million. The Cleveland Guardians now at $50 million. The highest, the Dodgers at 266, the Yankees at 205.
Right. And here's my
There's a
argument
problem with that.
There is. Why should Baltimore fan be stuck with that? Why should Baltimore fan? We're so afraid of franchises losing. How bad has Baltimore been for the last decade?
Yep.
I mean, horrific, terrible. And you know what? The owners of the Ravens or the Baltimore Orioles made as much money last year as they did 10 years ago in percentages. They made just as much money whether their team was good or bad. They don't care. They don't care. Don't affect my competitive balance. What are you talking about? Be a good owner or get out. If you can't afford the boat, sell it.
You know, Chris Gonzalez on YouTube makes the point that the Rays have 2 World Series wins with a really low roster. And then what happens? They get rid of all their players. They turn into a farm team for the Yankees. But
they're good managed. They're a well-organized, well-run baseball organization. They're a terribly owned team.
Man, we got Rob fired up this segment. Hey, we're going till 2 o'clock here on halftime. When we come back, it is Movie Review Wednesday, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. What is my judgment when it comes to this Arnold Schwarzenegger classic? And also, we're giving away tickets right now to caller number 5 to see Coheed and Cambria at the Whitewater in concert in July. That's over in the New Braunfels Canyon Lake area. Special guest is Dance Gavin Dance. Call into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Caller number 5, 656 ESPN. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's time to get your hoops on. The NBA season is off to a fast start. North, south, east, west. Step back for 3. The courts are firing with board busting and rim wrecking in your face balling.
Deep 3 straight away. Oh, we got another one.
And we got it all covered. Everything a fan like you wants, and then some.
Hammers a right-hand dunk.
Get the latest on your game on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
If you're a guy over 30 and feeling frustrated about your health, listen up. Not feeling yourself lately? Are work and relationships getting you down? Do you feel a lack of energy and focus on the things that matter to you most? All men around age 30 have the potential for their testosterone levels to decline naturally. When that happens, life can feel out of control. If that's you, then it's time to rethink your health with Synergenex testosterone replacement therapy. For more info and to schedule an appointment, head over to 800lowt.com today and get your life back.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
My sign is a potential customer's first impression, so it needs to be perfect.
It's possible at Staples.
There are 4 other bakeries within 5 blocks of here. My shop needs to stand out.
Also possible. With Staples print and marketing services, small businesses can print big with wide format signs and Right now, get $10 off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. Create your sign at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 3/26. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. You can catch me on Twitter at MikeESPNSA. You know, it's Wednesday. People love them. People hate them. People love to hate them. It is Movie Review Wednesday. And I'm doing Terminator 2, T2, Judgment Day.
So before you started this, had you seen, when was the first, you had not seen or heard any of the Terminators, or had you seen maybe a later edition, but you hadn't seen the first or the second Terminator before you started these movies?
Right.
Reviews.
So the thing about the movie reviews is that these are movies that everyone has seen that I have never seen before.
Right. So you saw Terminator and what'd you like? Did you like it?
The first Terminator I gave a B+. So I said it was a B+. I gave it a bullet, which meant that I was excited to watch the sequel, okay? Because I liked how the first Terminator ended. It's one of those things where, you know, I was kind of sheltered, I guess, growing up when it came to certain pop culture things. And I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up from the 70s or 80s. So it's funny because people look at me and go, are you serious?
I know.
You've never seen Terminator or T2? I'm like, no, dude, I never have.
Now, before you give your review, my memory of Terminator 2 was that it was actually better than the first, that it was one of those few where the sequel exceeded expectations. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the first Terminator. I enjoyed it, but I saw Terminator 2 and I thought, novel. They took the idea and ran with it. We got another Terminator. We got another character. They turned Arnold good because he had to, you know, all this. So I recall back in the 80s when it came out, I was quite happy with it.
Well, yeah, it took a while for this movie to be made because the first one, I believe, was made in 84. The second one was in 91.
Was it that long?
But
Okay.
it took a while to develop because what they were trying to accomplish from a CGI standpoint did not exist. It was a certain amount of technology that needed to be created over time.
This was the one where it was the liquid Terminator, right? Where you could you'd make a little knife out of his finger and stuff like that.
Oh man, yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly it.
Yeah.
So again, this stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously. Linda Hamilton, who she must work out because she was built. I mean, she was buff out there. In fact, I was reading that she did a 13-week military training with an Israeli commando to lead up to this movie. So, you know, you see that scene where she's doing what's it called, pull-ups, you know, in the insane asylum. So basically it catches up to the point where Sarah Connor, you know, she is the mother of the son who will eventually lead the humans into battle against the robots, against technology.
Skynet.
Right? Exactly, because the machines turn against the humans and start to battle against the humans.
Which is prophetic. It's going to happen.
Yes, but it's supposed to happen in 2027. That's the thing. And Judgment Day was supposed to be 1997, specifically August 29th, 1997, when there was going to be a nuclear holocaust.
And Skynet became self-aware.
Exactly.
Okay.
And most humans died, and they were trying to exterminate the rest of the humans, but you know, you have this son played by Edward Furlong who is going to eventually be the person who's going to lead the humans into battle when it comes to this. And the first Terminator went against Linda Hamilton's character, where they were going after Sarah Connor, the mother, right? So they said these beings from the future sent into time a Terminator to exterminate, if you will, to terminate Linda Hamilton's character, Sarah Connor. That didn't work, so they sent a second one years later to catch up with the son, John Connor, to try to kill the son.
Now, refresh my memory. How did Arnold become a good guy in Terminator 2?
Well, he was reprogrammed. That's the simple thing. He was a reprogrammed.
Who reprogrammed him?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I've only seen this movie
I
once.
don't remember. And, yeah, I'm just curious.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of funny because Arnold Schwarzenegger is the bad guy in the first one, and in the second one is the good guy. And eventually you catch up with this preteen John Connor, played by Edward Furlong.
One more. What did you think of the casting of Furlong?
It wasn't bad. I was okay with it. I remember him years later in American History X. And he was amazing in that movie.
He's a dark character. He plays a dark character. It's something in him.
Yeah, I can see that. But the fascinating part of this whole thing was it catches up 10 years later, and essentially what's going on is Sarah Connor is in an insane asylum. That no one believes her that this Terminator exists, that there was going to be a nuclear holocaust, and all of this thing was going to happen. So she's committed, and she cannot escape. And eventually she is able to escape because there's a new Terminator after her called the T-1000, played by Robert Patrick, who is one of the creepiest people I've ever seen in my entire life. And this is somebody who it's a new and improved Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger's character says that he is stronger than me. He is faster than me. He is more developed than me. I'll do whatever I can to protect you guys, but that guy is different. And what's amazing was that I was reading about the creation of this movie, and they said that the reason why they chose Robert Patrick was because he was sleek and slender. And they wanted to make it appear as though Arnold Schwarzenegger was a tank, but Robert Patrick's character, the T-1000, was a Porsche. Just a different type of thing.
I can see it.
And essentially what ends up happening is Sarah Connor's character is trying to not only get away from the T-1000, but is also trying to now kill the person who is going to develop the technology that led to the nuclear holocaust, that led to this whole thing that's going to happen in the future.
What did you think of the effects?
It was wonderful. It was great. I really enjoyed this movie.
Good. I'm glad you did, because it was an enjoyable movie. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength here.
Because I'm giving some exceptions to it all, because one of the exceptions is you can tell when it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and you can tell when it's his body double.
Okay. Really? I don't recall.
Yeah, some of the motorcycle scenes, some of the falls that were happening, I was like, that was not Arnold, man. How do you get a face that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger's face? But the thing about Robert Patrick's character, because he didn't, just that look, that piercing look, but then also doing the things where he's trying to go to the foster parents and he's trying to talk to them and be real nice. He was just evil in a weird way. He was just a very straight to the point kind of machine. And like you said, he could turn his fingers into blades. He could turn them into swords and things like that. And it was so cool. Now, when it comes to a rating though, I have not given an A+, I don't believe, in any of the reviews that I've done. This had the makings of an A+, but I'm not going to go there.
Really?
It's better than the first one, so much so that it was nominated for like 4 Oscars and it won 1 for Best Visual Effects. I'm going to give it just a straight up A. Okay, just a straight up A. And there's one reason why I did not give it an A+, and it has nothing to do with the plot, has nothing to do with the graphics, or the CGI, or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I hated all the product placements. Dude, it was
very 90s feel to it, didn't it?
There were 6 Pepsi commercials in there. Just walking around. It's one thing for it's subtle, like they're holding a soda or whatnot, but it was so awkward. It was billboard signs. And there was one for Subway when Subway had their old logo. But I was like, aside from that, but it was different. The other thing about it is that you can tell it was a big budget, because at the time, Rob, this was the highest, the most amount of money ever spent in a movie, and it made 5 times that amount. And it's still, when you adjust it for inflation, one of the top 10 biggest movies of all time when it comes to a rated R movie. But it's just one of those things where I looked at it, and some of the things that made it hokey the first time around, which that was kind of endearing, went away because it was big budget.
Right.
Do you know what it reminds me of real fast? It reminds me of whenever you listen to a band who has a demo tape, and there's something there, and you can see the talent, you can hear the talent, but then when you put it into a big studio, and you're like, okay, it's better, but it's not as grunge. It's not as
It got too polished.
It got too polished,
packaged, corporized, incorporated.
And that's what this movie was.
I'll
give it an
A. I think you're probably. I think in most people's eyes, it was, it was a good movie. I don't think it's one of the greatest of all times, but it spurred how many more Terminator remakes have there been? There was those two. I think they made one more with Furlong, right?
Yeah, and I think the new one that's coming out is also, or the one that just came out also had him as well.
And then, but we've had 4 Terminator movies now, or are we up to 5?
I think we're at 6.
6. And we're talking about over 30, 40 years. It's one of the greatest movie franchises of all time.
And one of the funny things is that people will sometimes flag me down about these movie reviews and go, well, you gave this movie a B+ and you gave this movie an A, so therefore the A is better than the B+. No, sometimes you have to rank them according to the genre that they're in. For an action movie, for what it is and the genre that it's in, it is an A. But it doesn't mean that I think it's better than Scarface. Maybe it is. I don't know.
No, it's not. But let's not go too far. But they're in the same vein.
Yeah, it was good. And it's been 30 years.
So you got a fan on here, Rodrigo Bravo. Furlong did not show up again except for a CGI recreation.
Oh, okay.
It was so strange. I always thought of all the casting decisions made in these when they went to a female Terminator in the later versions.
Yeah.
The Furlong casting I always thought was odd. It just never really seemed to fit the movie to me. I don't know what they were chasing with him because he has this dark persona that he can't act his way out of. You're never going to see Furlong in a happy movie.
Yeah, I mean, American History X. He was in Detroit Rock City.
That's actually isn't too bad. That was funny.
Those were but it's just one of those things where you're right. He is a kind of a dark character, but he wasn't an actor. That was the first thing he had ever acted in. They found him at a Boys and Girls Club. It's one of those things, one of those stories that you hear where a casting call, they're looking for someone new and they saw that face and thought, that's the guy that I want. That's the kid that I want for this movie. Very bizarre how that all happens. You hear that with singers. I hear like Toni Braxton was discovered at a gas station. I read a long time ago how she was singing to herself and someone said, are you a singer? You hear these stories. It's so weird. But
and
again,
she would go on to break up the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. It was Jason Kidd. It was Jamal Mashburn
and Jimmy Jackson.
God, that was the original Oklahoma City trio, man. The trio there, man. That when it came to Durant and Westbrook and Harden never winning it back in the 90s, Mashburn and Kidd. Those guys should have won back in the day. But we're going to put a bow on the show on the other side. Also, this is your last chance to win tickets to see Coheed and Cambria in concert. Call 656-ESPN. We're looking for caller number 5, 656-ESPN. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com.
In the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy revealed yesterday in Indianapolis at the scouting combine that Dak Prescott was one of 8 players that underwent offseason surgery. Dak had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder in what was called a minor cleanup and isn't expected to impact the offseason schedule. In college basketball, tonight, fighting Texas A&M Aggies return to action for their second to last game of the regular season when they head to Tuscaloosa to take on the 25th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide at 6. It's a game you can catch on San Antonio Sports Star right after the Blitz. In the MLB, no deal was reached between the players and owners as the deadline passed. With it, Commissioner Rob Manfred said that the league would be canceling the first 2 series of the regular season. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Rudy Jay.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Do you want the best for your car? Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K, how convenient.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics:
my elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074, or go to hill-electric.com. Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
If it's rim wrecking board busting action you want, then come and get it.
Catching a right-hand dunk.
The greatest ballers on earth are doing their thing on the hard court, and we bring it to you. Catch the action on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This is Jason Minnick. You're listening to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. This has been a fun show, but we have some breaking news coming into San Antonio Sports Star. The NBA has fined DeJounte Murray $20,000 for his ejection from the game the other night for throwing the ball at the official's legs. This according to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5.
I think he had to pay. He was willing to pay $20,000 just to get off that court. He had seen enough of Ja in a variety of methods. He'd seen the bottom of Ja's feet. He'd looked squarely at Ja's ass as he flew by him. He got tired of it, threw the ball, and went home. He would have gladly paid $20K to just go back to the room.
I mean, how are they both all-stars, man? I mean, they both are all-stars. Obviously, John Moran is great, but when it comes to
breaking news,
we got tacos.
Reinagel just walked in holding bag of aluminum wrapped food. What do we got here? Tamales.
Very nice.
From a listener. All right, tamales for the Blitz.
It is more than Carolina Teague that gets gifts here. That's amazing.
No kidding. Well,
I'll take food.
I'll lead follow. No. You can interrupt anytime when you bring food. Joe Reinagel of TV fame, now a radio guy and living the dream that is tamales at the front desk.
Joe Reinagel is going to be living the dream of giving away Brooks and Dunn tickets tonight, 4 to 7 on the Blitz with Jason Minix.
This is his second real day as just a radio guy, and he's getting out early. We got Aggie basketball at 6.
Have you noticed his clothing has gotten worse and worse by the day? He's going to be in flip-flops by the end of the week.
He'll look like us soon enough.
Very nice. Rob, thanks for filling in and hanging out with me. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. I believe we have Quinn and Tanner tomorrow, so it'll be Rock the Mic Champs 5 and 6 tomorrow. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Roll home with Joe Reinagel.